week 6. We're going to continue working on strategies to market our programs, market our organizations. Last week we talked about branding. This week we're going to talk about social and creative media. Guys, whether we like it, whether we want to engage in it or not, social media is a huge aspect of sport. It's so popular because it's a direct communication for fans. And there are more people engaged in the social media aspect of organizations than ever visit a website. And so organizations that aren't using social media are missing the boat. It's valuable for a lot of reasons. One, it allows fans to interact in real time during the game. It allows them to engage the way they want to be engaged. It creates viral content, and it allows us to drive behavior that drives business. So it allows us to drive attendance, drive ticket sales, drive engagement with sponsors. And so we're going to go through kind of a list of things that it does for us. So one is it's going to build an audience. So we've got to be successful, we've got to build our audience. So we want to promote and use social media initiatives in games or in events during broadcast. We can promote our social media through digital marketing, online marketing, and through our traditional advertising. So even if we are advertising on the radio or through TV or in print, we still want to push our social media platforms. We want to engage fans. So in order to grow our social media, we have to create content that people want to see. And so some things that we want to keep in mind is we want to have an authentic voice, and we want to vary our voice. We want to listen and learn. We want to test out different ways of delivering content. And we want to figure out which platforms work best for us. Good social media done the right way should be aligned with whatever our strategic objectives were that we developed. And so we want to use that to drive people to do what we want them to do. It may be to attend events. It may be to purchase tickets. It may be to engage or buy from our sponsors. Whatever our social media has to align and has to fit into what our objectives are. There's obviously some people who are scared of social media because there are some issues that can happen. So we want to avoid some mistakes on social media. So we want to manage who has access to our accounts. We want to keep a very, very distinct line between what is a personal account versus an official account. We want to reserve the right to delete, but we don't want to delete unless we have to. And if we do make a mistake, we want to own our mistake. We want to use our players, our coaches. One of the big appeals of social media is that they can have direct communication with athletes and coaches. And so we want to leverage that communication and leverage the athletes and the teams and the potential events, coaches, administrators we have, and give our fans access to those people. And so there are a ton of social media platforms, and they continue to evolve and change each year. And so we want to make sure that we understand how to use those platforms effectively. And that's a lot of what this presentation is going to deal with, is talking about kind of who uses a lot of these platforms and what we should be doing. It's going to allow you to examine your own social media accounts for your organizations to see if you're doing what you should be doing. So for Facebook, the way this is going to be laid out is I'm going to provide you some strategies, and then I'm going to give you a profile of who's actually using Facebook. So Facebook should be used to kind of promote kind of big posts. They're going to be quite wordy, and so we want to post up to 10 times a week. And about 80% of those posts should include a video or a photo. We want to like about 50% of positive posts or responses to our post. We want to respond to about 25% of the positive posts that are tied to our post. If there is a negative issue we can resolve, excuse me, we want to resolve it. And social media is a great way to mention our key partners, our sponsors. We should do that at least once a week. So the way I've heard Facebook used in sport a lot of times is it's a way to broadcast, big events, big content posts with videos, pictures. It's a great way to use Facebook Live to engage with interviews with players, interviews with coaches, interviews with administrators, interview with bosses, even interview with customers. So this is kind of a breakdown. And again, you can find demographics that are going to be 10 different ways. So this is just one example, but about 75% of people who use Facebook are female. The two most popular age ranges are 18 to 29 and 30 to 49. But you look, 46% of people age 65 and plus use Facebook. It's pretty split evenly between where people live. And people who are on and engaging on Facebook they're doing well. They have high incomes. They're college educated or have some college. So this is you understand, this is maybe a little more mature audience. And so we can't leave this platform out. For Twitter, we want to post about 20 times per week. Most of those should include some kind of media. We want to tweet in-game and engage fans with media and questions. We want to retweet about 80% of positive comments. We want to respond to about 25% of positive comments. And ideally, we want to obtain a sponsor that will allow us to do season-long Twitter promotions. Again, it's another great way to mention your key partners, your sponsors. You should do that at least once a week. And we want to integrate hashtags so we're able to create a community around what we're doing. If you look at kind of Twitter demographics, it's pretty even between males and females. It's quite a bit of a younger audience, so the most popular is 18 to 29. It's more of an urban or suburban type location of people to use it. And it's a younger audience, so it's pretty evenly split among income and among education. So it's a little bit of a different population, a little less mature population from Facebook. Instagram, we should post at least 10 videos or pictures each week. We want to pick one event each week where fans are encouraged to submit their photos or videos. And we want to reward at least 20 fans per season for sharing great content via Instagram. You could do that with merchandise. You could do that with recognition. But Instagram is a very visual social media platform, so it's great for sport. If you look at the breakdown, it's slightly more geared toward female. Again, it's a very, very young platform where the biggest age range is 13 to 17. It's a very urban and suburban users. Again, very young user profile, so the income is low and pretty spread out among education. So this is a great way to engage your very young audience or younger audience. Pinterest, not used as much in sport, but I think people are kind of missing the boat. Kind of some strategies you can develop 5 boards where people can pin pictures of tailgating or their merchandise they're using or them at a game or pictures of your venue or facilities or stuff out in the community. And we want to reward the fans that do repin content. Very female driven social media platform. Very spread out by age for the most part. A more mature audience, so you're going to have people who make a little bit more money, and it's a little bit more used by people who are college educated. Snapchat. One we have to be careful with, but one that's very popular. We want to post 20 snaps a week that provide inside access or behind the scenes content, meaning we want to show people stuff that they can't see normally. We want to create at least one in-season promotion where fans can use Snapchat. And our goal is we want to try to increase our followers by around 35% over the course of the season, the first season that we use Snapchat. It's almost a split audience. It's a very young audience. And it's so for that, you're going to get people who are not at the height of making their money. So understand this is probably your most young audience as far as social media goes. Obviously, YouTube is very popular. It's the most widely used online platform, and a lot of people are using this as a great way to interview customers, great way to provide short form and long form videos, and something that even sport teams are using as a streaming network as opposed to some of the other options. Creative media. A little bit different, guys. This is using media platforms to tell your organization's story using video, graphic arts, pictures. And this is going to involve skills such as editing images, videography, video editing, creative design, and it utilizes software like Adobe Creative Cloud, Score Shots, which is one we use at Reinhardt, which is a hugely popular platform for creating content, something we don't use enough. And then the Adobe or the Apple Creative Media apps. And so I've posted kind of some examples of this in our resource pages, but understand, guys, the content that we're putting out on social media should be creative by creative media, meaning that the photos we edit, the posters we make, the videos we post, those are all done as part of creative media. And those things are tied directly to our social media. So I've provided some really good examples in the resources tab, and I'll talk about those in the introduction to the week. I look forward to see what you guys have to say about all this.